Whispers in the Ashford Hotel. The Ashford Hotel sat quietly among the Rocky Mountains of Colorado, a crumbling monument to another time. Built in 1927, during the roaring age of jazz and excess, it once dazzled visitors with chandeliers, marble floors, and velvet lounges. Wealthy businessmen stayed there on their way to oil deals. Flappers danced in the ballroom until sunrise, and newspapers called it the crown jewel of the Rockies. But that was almost a century ago. Now, the Ashford was a shadow of itself. Its carpet smelled of mildew, its walls grown with age, and most of its rooms were rarely rented. Tourists who stumbled upon it often left before dawn. Locals drove past with their eyes averted. They didn't speak of it openly, but everyone knew the stories about cold drafts in empty hallways, voices in the walls, and especially about the cursed Room 6. The journalist, Clara Benson, had always been drawn to the strange. A 32-year-old investigative journalist, she wrote for a Denver magazine that specialized in offbeat travel stories. Abandoned amusement parks, mining towns turned ghost towns, legendary diners. Clara had seen it all, but when she heard about the Ashford Hotel from a friend in Boulder, something in her gut told her this story was different. Perfect for Halloween, her editor said when she pitched it. But make it real. Don't give me cliches. Find the truth. So Clara packed a recorder, camera, and notebook and drove up the winding roads of the Rockies one gray October afternoon. Fog clung to the peaks, and the air smelled of pine and rain. As she pulled into the cracked parking lot, the Ashford loomed above her. For stories of brick, windows like dark eyes staring back at her, its neon sign flickering half dead. Inside, the lobby tried to pretend it was still elegant. A dusty chandelier hung low. Couches sagged from years of use, and a faint sound of old jazz played from hidden speakers. The receptionist, a woman in her late 50s, greeted her politely. But when Clara asked for room 6, the woman's smile froze. "I'm sorry, miss. That room is unavailable. Renovations." But Clara pressed. She explained she was writing a piece, offered extra money, and leaned into her charm. At last, reluctantly, the woman fetched a brass key with the number 6 engraved. "If anything happens," she whispered, "call the front desk immediately." The hallway to room 6 was colder than the rest of the hotel. Clara felt it immediately, a draft that raised goosebumps on her skin. The wallpaper was peeling, the carpet damp beneath her shoes. When she unlocked the door, the hinges groaned like a wounded animal. Inside, the air was heavy, stale. A faint metallic smell lingered, like old blood. The room itself was plain. A bed with a sagging mattress, a wardrobe with one door slightly ajar, and a cracked mirror above a small desk. Clara placed a recorder on the nightstand. "October 12th, 9:03 p.m., she said into the mic. "First night in room 6 of the Ashford Hotel. Locals say it's haunted by a maid named Eleanor Gray, who died here in the 1930s. Let's see if there's any truth." Night 1. The first hours were uneventful. Clara typed notes on her laptop, ate snacks she'd packed, and listened to the rain tapping the window. By midnight, exhaustion pulled her under. At exactly 2:46 a.m., she woke. The sound of running water echoed from the bathroom. Confused, she stumbled toward it. The sink faucet was on, blasting water, steam rising though no heat was on. The mirror was fogged. She wiped it with her hand, and nearly screamed. For a split second, her reflection wasn't alone. Behind her stood a woman in a black maid's uniform, hair pulled back tightly, eyes hollow and dark. Her mouth opened as if to speak, but Clara spun around. Empty bathroom. Her heart thundered. She slammed the faucet off and stumbled back to bed, checking her recorder. Her blood ran cold. Over the faint splash of water, a whisper hissed. "Don't stay. Daylight truths." Clara barely slept. At breakfast in the lobby cafe, she asked about Eleanor Gray. Most staff brush her off, but an older housekeeper, with tired eyes and trembling hands, leaned close. Eleanor was a maid here, 1934. They say she was called to room 6 one night by a wealthy guest. Hours later, she was found dead in the wardrobe. They said it was an accident. She fell. But everyone knew the man had done something. He left town, never punished. And Eleanor, she never left either. The woman crossed herself, then hurried away. Night 2. Clara returned to room 6 determined to capture more. She set up her camera facing the wardrobe, her recorder on the nightstand, and left the lamp on. Around 3 a.m., the temperature plummeted. Clara shivered, pulling the blankets tighter. Her breath fogged in the air. From the corner came the sound of soft crying, low, mournful, impossibly human. She sat up, recorder clutched in her hand. "Eleanor," she whispered, "is that you?" The crying stopped. The wardrobe door creaked open on its own. Inside hung a maid's uniform, yellow with age, dust clinging to it. A dark, rust-colored stain spread across the hem. The crying began again, louder this time, mixed with a whisper that slithered into her ear. "Get out!" Clara froze. She forced herself to close the wardrobe door, hands trembling. On playback later, the recorder captured something worse. Over the sound of crying came another voice, rough and guttural. "Stay, stay, stay." The manager's confession. The next morning, Clara confronted the hotel manager, a balding man with deep lines in his face. At first, he denied everything, but when Clara pressed, he exhaled sharply. "People come here chasing ghosts," he muttered, "but they don't know the truth. Eleanor wasn't just killed. She was trapped. Her soul never left the room. Every time someone stays there, she tries to warn them. But something else in that room, something keeps her chained." "What's something?" Clara asked. He didn't answer. He only said, "You should leave before tonight." Night 3. Clara should have left, but her instinct as a journalist and a strange pull in her gut kept her there. That night, she spoke directly into the recorder. "Eleanor, I'm here. Tell me what you want. I can help." At 3:03 a.m., the lights went out. The wardrobe door opened slowly. Clara's camera blinked red, still recording, and Eleanor appeared. She was fully visible this time. Pale skin, bruised arms, lips cracked. Her eyes locked on Clara's, filled with rage and sorrow. Her lips moved, silent at first, then a whisper echoed through the room. "Justice." The lamp exploded, shards scattering across the floor. Clara screamed, stumbling backward. The wardrobe slammed shut with a thunderous crack. On the recorder, her voice was frantic. "What do you want from me?" And Eleanor's voice, layered with static. "Now you'll stay." The aftermath. When staff opened room 6 the next morning, Clara was gone. Her suitcase, notebook, and camera remained, but the journalist herself had vanished. The recorder lay on the bed. On the tape were her final moments. Footsteps pounding, the creak of the wardrobe, her desperate breaths, and then silence. After a pause, Eleanor's whisper filled the room. 2 voices now. 2 forever. The hotel manager locked room 6 permanently, telling guests it was under renovation. But locals know the truth. Some say if you press your ear to the door late at night, you'll hear 2 women, one crying, one screaming. Others claim they've heard a third voice, softer, newer. Clara's voice, begging to be let out,